Doing our Tuesday, getting it done. Hueytown Pawn's got the Glocks back. Let me try to explain if you haven't heard about their Glock deal. Tommy over there has got a pipeline to these pre-owned law enforcement Glocks. These are previously issued to law enforcement agencies all over the country. It's just part of a big program that Glock does, and some of these departments do. And when they've sort of aged out or they're due for a new allotment, they'll just take these in a bundle and put them on the secondary market. And that's where Tommy snaps them up, gets back here to Birmingham with them. Some of these are new in the original cases and never been fired. Some of these have been used in the day-to-day law enforcement use, but nonetheless, all solid guns. They go through them, and he's got them on sale right now for a limited time for $3.99 over at Hueytown Pawn. When he first ran this special at the end, sort of the middle of last year, first thing I did was get back over there after I'd met Tommy. He put the sale on, and I'd just been over there, so I ran back over and picked one up, and it's an outstanding gun. It's as functional as you would expect a Glock to be, and they've got them on sale right now at Hueytown Pawn. And it's not too early if some of y'all are already pre-thinking about hunting season. Some of my buddies live and breathe that all year long, whether the season's in or out, and start getting ready for the next one. And if you're like that, they've got a lot of things for the hunter as well. Sound suppression is a big deal nowadays, and more and more people are turning to those things. They keep a huge selection. They've got a big vault over at Hueytown Pawn, and it is completely full of suppressors, and they keep them stocked up. So if you're looking for a certain model or one that'll fit your platform, I'll almost bet he's got it, and good prices on all of it. And so for any of those things, y'all go get to know them and comparison shop there with your favorite store. That maybe you've got a traditional store you've been to for years. I get that. But try them out over at the pawn shop. You may be surprised at what you find. Hueytown Pawn, they're over in Hueytown on Brook Lane Drive. Y'all ride on over there and pop in when you've got some downtime and you're out gun hunting, and take advantage of one of these specials that from time to time Tommy will put on us. I still am sad I missed out on the AR-12s. I'm not even sure if he still got any in stock, but those are super cool guns. Hueytown Pawn. Hueytown Pawn. All right, let's go back to the top, and we'll start with this Iran war situation and all that's being affected today from the on-again, off-again talks on that. The Dow wound up, all this is connected, and we tend to bunch all this together every day. Dow wound up closing up about 900 points today. The NASDAQ up 670 sort of points. I didn't look at oil during the break. Usually I check that at 3 o'clock. But oil has been on the decline, and all this with optimism that we sure enough have a deal this time. And Trump is out there sort of, I guess, taunting us with the prospect that something could be announced tomorrow. Now, we know it's Groundhog Day. We've heard this before. And it's because, again, I was trying to explain this early in the war. Iran always had this mosaic plan that if attacked by the West, they would break into regional territories. And the IRGC has their own commanders. There's 12 territories in the country. And the ones along the coast are under the command of leaders that may not be privy to the talks. Whoever this is with the government that may not even speak for the full government, trying to cut a deal with Trump to stop the bombing. You've got other hardliners out there still in command of certain missiles and drones and troops continue to throw the deal off every time they get close. So today we had a report of another cargo ship getting shot at. We don't know with what. Apparently it caught on fire and there may be a person missing. It wasn't one of ours, but it was another private international shipping concern where every time we get close to solidifying something, they go and do something else. Again, their goal, their strategy for decades has been based on creating a choke point over oil and affecting elections here in the country, which we're here in the midterms, key to the Trump administration. That usually any other president would be affected by that. That any other president would not have launched this attack for the idea of stopping a nuclear holocaust from these maniacs because of their own self-preservation. Obama, Clinton, the Bushes, none of them would have done this particular thing at this time because of the risk. Trump did it, and he did it because he still believes in the mission itself, which is to disarm these people and reduce the threat in the region. If this works, it's going to be phenomenal. But right now we're in this quagmire where the Iranians, unless we're going to go in and just take them out on the ground, they've still are clinging to some vestiges of power and still trying to use the oil price as a tool, but it's not working for them. Again, today it's dropping. They've not been able to be as effective at that as they thought they could. That's why they've also attacked their neighbors. It's not some kind of animus between Oman or Qatar or any of these countries, or Kuwait, any of these countries that they've hit. They're trying to affect the oil prices. They're hitting countries that produce oil. They're trying to drag it into a regional thing so that becomes the biggest pressure point on an American president who's got to face voters who are short-sighted, ill-educated on history, and just ride down the road and look at the gas price, and that's how they decide their politics. The Iranians are aware of that weakness in this country. The good news is it's not working on them, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. But don't be surprised that they attempt something else, that they do something provocative to blow the deal up, because there are too many hardliners in their country that do not want to deal under any circumstances. They fundamentally believe that it's their mission before God to continue to fight us. And they're not going to shake those beliefs until they're dead and hanging out with their 72 virgins. So let's send them there. Henry is up next, line 3. What's up, Henry?
I say send them there, too. You know, even I called about the children living with their parents, but first I want to start on what you were just talking about with Iran. Listen, it's called the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. It's so simple. Iran is in the throes of revolution. You cannot talk to somebody that's fighting a revolution, and I don't think most people understand that. That's why they declared war on us in 1978, 1979. They declared war. They said, we're going to destroy you. We're going to, this is a revolution. I remember a lot of that when it was going on, but it's just a side note. It's a revolution. Listen to what the Beatles said. And anyway, I want to talk about what you said about the kids living with their parents.
Yeah.
In 74, we were told we were no longer part of the Pacific Fleet, that we had to run over and change to the Atlantic. So we steamed, and I mean we steamed, and we headed to the Atlantic. We then went to the Mediterranean. Well, by then it was 75. And when we got in there, we were told to head to Italy, that there was going to be some problems. Well, in Italy at this time, 1975, I don't know if this is all conjecture on my part, but all the kids were living with their parents, and there was this heightened fear of a revolution of communism. Yep. Every street had a sickle and hammer on it. You could not walk anywhere without seeing the graffiti of the sickle and hammer everywhere, Leland. And it got cleaned up since. Different ministers of the cabinet and everything, they worked on getting a lot of that taken care of. But all the kids were, we used to joke about it, that all the kids were living with their parents. They had nothing but a bunch of mama boys, and they wanted everything for free. And so there was this slide towards communism, pure-blooded communism, not socialism, that they're trying to make communism sound like a little bit sweeter to the tongue, but it's communism. You know it. I know it. We see it happening and then it's mixed in with Islam, and Islam was mixed in with the Italians also. It's just amazing how this stuff is happening. Now, remember, this is 1975.
It comes back around. All of these things come back around.
Don't it?
It sure does.
It's just amazing. I really appreciate it. And if you could, it would be interesting to look up on the computer some of these side things to find out what percentage of the kids at that time were living with their parents in Italy, and what percentage it is now. It's the highest now here in our country. Everything works towards a purpose. There's no coincidence. these things are manipulated. It's just a good word. And as they are manipulated, it's that they're coagulating in certain cities where those who are favored by the revolutionaries to have, and a lot of people want to call it communism, but it's a different kind. It is anarchist communism. It's a different kind. Stalin, when he was killing everybody, he got it all done, brought communism in, and guess what he said? He said, Marx was an idiot. I got this all done just according to the books, and guess what? What do I do now? What do I do now? This idiot didn't know what to do after he had it all, after he built all the buildings and did everything in the communist theme. He killed everybody. He was lost.
That's right. They killed all their enemies. They couldn't be productive. Everybody was still starving. And it's the way it always works out. Henry, you reminded me of the...
How important was Ukraine back then?
Oh, yeah.
Remember what they were doing to the Ukrainians at that time. They were starving them. The poor people. I tell you what, Ukraine has eaten more crap from the communists than anywhere else. You notice communism, it's not moved into the Ukrainian dinner table. That's for sure. When they talk about things at the dinner table, it hasn't moved in there like it has in our country. So they all left those areas and came here. And think about it. Islam is on the warpath, and they are taking over our cities. And when they do, remember, the more power they get, Leland, the less we will support Israel, the less we will be able to support ourselves, and they will continue down the communist path of destruction. We can beat them, though. That's what's so great. We're not stupid. We're not. What was that guy's name?
Henry, I know you're fired up today, but we've got to know who we are to beat them. And my biggest disappointment is the lack of basic civics education of people that are common sense minded. I don't know that they'll go to the polls and reject some of these crazies that the left is putting up. But it's getting a toehold. I saw a meme the other day that said, man, I bet Al-Qaeda realizes, man, they didn't have to knock the buildings down. All they had to do was run for mayor. They're doing stuff from the inside, just as Khrushchev predicted.
Slammed that shoe on the podium and said, I'll take her down from the inside.
These ideas are not new. What they're presenting to these ignorant kids, the under 35 crowd, these are new ideas to them. They think they've got solutions to things that are problems for these kids. And we're in that phase, you know, that old thing where they say hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. We're at the weak men create hard times part of that equation. The stupidity of these soy boys and these whiny-ass victim-oriented, this whole therapy generation where there's always an excuse, something they can blame it on. And rather than confronting the realities of life and hard work and decency and the things that we need to hold this together, we'll go back there. As the pendulum swings, Henry, we'll go through some hard stuff in this country, but we'll return to those things. There's no choice if we're going to survive. But we're in that part now where could potentially flip to the hard times equation if people continue to follow these mindless children and their stupid ideas.
Yeah, and the problem is maybe they'll just want to roll another one, Leland. That's my problem with them.
Who knows, man?
You're absent from the whole debate. If you're high and you cannot function properly when you're on a buzz, you want to just party instead. But I tell you this: what I see coming out of this, kids at home, there's some good grandparents, Leland. Good grandparents that they're going to have to be associated with a lot more than they would have if they were out of the home. And they're going to be told what it was like. They're going to be told how to act. They're going to be told a lot of things they haven't been told by their parents, because the grandparents are now moving in, and because they need the help. So, you know, that entire generation, the baby boomers, they are coming into their own. And what they are needed for now is to teach these children exactly what you're talking about. So those hard times are not so hard, and we pull out as the victors instead of just being used by the people of the world. Because, and I'll end on this. Leland, did you read the GAO accounting office? That they say that there's a $500 billion taken from this country every single year by out-of-country people. Our enemies are taking our money
we're getting
of
screwed.
hard-working Americans, and they're living the good life on us. We're they're living the dime on us, and you know how they reward it? Sell them another bag of weed and give them some more fentanyl. Unbelievable. I just feel that is so sickening to allow our enemies to steal our money the way they're doing. And the Democrats, they don't care. They don't care if the money's gone. They do
you
care
got to
that
destroy the
USA is
system
gone.
before you can replace it. And if you start thinking that way, hey, thanks, Henry. I know you're fired up today, and that was a lot.
All right.
Appreciate you, buddy. If you're going to break a system because you've got another way you want to do it, just like word salad and Kamala today, talking about getting rid of the electoral college. They want to pack the courts. Every time they get beat, they want to change the rules. Those aren't protectors of democracy or our way of life. They hate our way of life, and they wanted to destroy it ever since. So if you were the devil, remember that old Paul Harvey thing that he did, I guess, back in the 60s? If I were the devil, how I would bring a country to its knees. What you would want is a hell of a lot of crime. You'd want cities in disarray. You'd want people tribalized over things like race and gender. You'd want people at each other over superficial things that don't really matter to the survival of a country. You'd want to screw up the housing market, which they have with their spending and their bad ideas. You would want just unease so that people give up on the things they have, and they're instituting it. The easiest way to do it is to bombard any of these decent countries with a bunch of indigent people from parts of the world that are highly unproductive. Where I've heard it expressed over and over again that we're told that they culturally enrich us. Well, why the hell didn't they enrich where they came from? Because where they came from is a hellhole. That's complete dysfunction, and they're bringing that with them. And if you want to really bum rush a country, you do what they did in Spain last week, or you do what Biden let happen at our own border. Because the goal is not to save the country, improve the country, help people in their lives, no matter what they say on their TV ads. The goal is to crash the system. Mondami's doing it right now with this dumb idea about the grocery stores. It seems like just a play to people's needing some cheaper stuff, right? Just free bread, whatever. And it's what commies always come with. They lead with that kind of stuff, and then they wind up imprisoning people. But the result of it is just going to be to run all the other legit businesses out of those areas until the system comes crashing. It's the same thing when they try to confiscate buildings and kick the landlords out and take them over to create, quote, low-cost housing. That whole city will be a slum if you do that about every other block. And they know it. I think they know the end game is to crash the system so they can subdue people. People that know who they are and what they're fighting for can't be subdued, especially not people that extend from Western civilization. It's centuries in the making. But we're forgetting all those lessons, and there's some dangerous stuff afoot right now. It's still at the gates. It's not inside yet, but it's getting there. Y'all, let's talk about work trucks. If you're out there getting it done and need a truck, I've got Bubba and the team down there at Work Trucks ready to get you outfitted. These are pre-owned. So they're going to save you money. And he's got almost every configuration you need in business and in industry, from big old flatbeds to box trucks to vans to just shop trucks. They're all down at Work Trucks. They've been combed through. These are quality trucks with low miles. They've done a lot of work, so you can just go pick one out and keep moving. Downtown Birmingham, 3rd Avenue South. Go see them for any of the things you need for your business or your church or your organization. Maybe you need a passenger van. They've got them at Work Trucks. TRUX, WorkTrucksLLC.com. Back here in a minute. All right, y'all, let's get on over to the break. I just talked too long in the last segment, gave Henry a little extra time. Distinctive Pools is ready to come build a pool for you. If you're thinking about adding this kind of space, this outdoor living, which is really how we all should look at it, not just a swimming pool, that's wonderful, but for other parts of the year, they can tie in everything and build you an outdoor kitchen or an outdoor living room, with the fireplace and the TV outside, and then your pool's over there connected to all of it. It just makes it so fun and usable all year long for entertaining or just chilling out by yourself. That's some of my favorite times. It's just sitting there all alone. Y'all, it's distinctivepools.com. Let the experienced team come and draw you a plan that makes sense, that's beautiful, that you'll love to show off, and get it done with finance companies that can help with the project as well. It's distinctivepools.com, distinctivepools.com. Back here in just a minute. Stay tuned. All right, let's get back at it. Leland Live, Talk 995, Allen and Company next up here on the show of all of our wonderful sponsors. Just love the Thompson family and how nice they've been to all of this audience over the years. People stopping by, getting very personal things done. Jewelry is personal. Usually you give a big gift like that, it's connected to something, well, obviously an engagement or a wedding set, those kind of things. But sometimes it's a birthday or a milestone in life, or somebody survived cancer, or you just have been through some stuff together and you want to commemorate that with a nice gift. And so they understand that. So everybody's got a different price range, a different budget, different styles, different taste. And that's why a custom place like this, where you've got Alan who can create just about anything you want to come up with and sit down and help you design it and do something special for somebody. It's nice to have a shop like this. Plus, for the maintenance of these items, they get it. You may have a piece that your grandma gave you, and it's not worth a whole lot, but it is to you. And it needs to be cleaned or fixed or tightened. They can handle that kind of stuff in-house. They never have to ship your items anywhere, and they'll get it right back to you. Things happen to this stuff because we wear it. It's with us all the time, and things break and things get loose and need to be resized and fixed. Y'all take it over there to Allen and Company and get to know the Thompson family and join us, I'm sure. I think they've already booked. They do it every year. They'll book a year out. We'll be doing our friends and family show there to kick off all the gift giving sometime around the holidays, which is thankfully closer than we know. Allen and Company over in Vestavia, right there on Highway 31. I love to give y'all landmarks. So if you're on 31 looking for their shop, it's on the car wash, sort of fire department, Chick-fil-A side of 31, if you know what I mean. It's Allen and Company. All right, I've got to get this in here because I didn't bring it up at the beginning of the show because, you know, I've decided not to spend too much time dwelling on the Iran situation because it's hard to get a handle on it. Trump will bluff a little bit. They'll bluff a little bit. There's stuff going on behind the scenes we have no scope on. You've got reports coming from the battlefield space itself, and then all this stuff this week about the Iranians starting to try to hack water systems. Initially, Trump denied he didn't believe that was the case, but there seems to be more and more of a body of evidence that a state actor of some type has gotten into potentially 5 different states' water system. Now, right now, it's been mostly a corruption of systems that aren't critical to life or death. In one case, I know it was a business system that they use for billing. I'm like, dang, they could have just Birmingham Waterworks, back when they were Birmingham Waterworks, they didn't need the Iranians. They could screw it up on their own. But so that's something to keep an outside eye on. But this story, this headline right here pissed me off more than anything today, and I'm going to be a little bit strong in some opinions about it. But there's a report out today. We got to take things with a grain of salt, but you've got to take this seriously as well, that there was a very comprehensive battle plan or attack plan being sent around the highest levels of the Pentagon and the White House, and that someone leaked the details of that plan to the Iranians. And that's why this was as late as Sunday night. That's why some of this, which was on go, had to be recalculated and rethought out once the leak was discovered. Now, you think about that. That's as treasonous as anything Benedict Arnold did. That's as more treasonous than anything Snowden or these other people that our country has gone after for leaking secrets or exposing things. This apparently was some kind of direct leak that got back to the Iranians from inside the highest levels of Trump's government. Now, Trump has dealt with leaks. In his first term, it was all the time. It was people sitting right there in the room with him, immediately telling their buddies in the media, because that town's a big old incestuous relationship. And so people trade favors and information. Information is the currency to actually get currency in your pocket. And it's how that town runs on this kind of inside knowledge. Everybody, you go out to dinner in Washington just with a group of friends from the Hill, because I've done this many times. And everybody there's got to flop it out on the table and show how much they know about something that you don't know about. It's the way they do everything. It's the men, the women. Oh, well, I know this and I know that, and it's all gossip. And that's how things That's how bad information and real information moves around circles in that town at the highest levels, from the junior staff levels all the way to the highest levels. But for this to get back to the Iranians is a deep red alert concern. And it's purported that it couldn't have been the Israelis, surreptitiously through their networks, because apparently they didn't know anything about it. The Israelis are not part of the attack strategy. At least they didn't have that kind of detail, and it got leaked out. So I started thinking about all the leaks that never seem to get punished. I mean, we'll hear. I remember one time there was a Navy sailor. He was on board a submarine, and he took a selfie inside the submarine and sent it, I think, to his girlfriend, if I remember the story correctly. Because there was classified equipment in the background, this dude just took a selfie, not thinking about the background. There was equipment in the background that was exposed because of the selfie. And I think the kid got 7 years for that photograph, for transmitting that photograph. This was at the same time they were looking into Hillary, who was trading and making money on inside information as Secretary of State, which is evidenced by the fact she set up an illegal server to begin with to control all that. She used it for its purpose. Use it to communicate around the government, to do whatever the hell she wanted to. And then when they came sniffing around, she could destroy it. And she did, and she got away with it. So it depends on who's doing the leaking, doesn't it? If you're a regular person in the military, we've had people busted from up in Huntsville for violating those protocols, for having documents. We saw them let Biden get away with it. We saw him kick Trump's door in over a nebulous claim about just classified information. But these leaks never really get cracked down upon. We had somebody leak the Supreme Court ruling, the pro-life ruling, just leaked it from inside the Supreme Court. That was at most a handful of people. That was at most 10 people that would have been able to do that. It's widely believed they were close to Sotomayor, if not her, the justice themselves. And they just kind of pretended like we just can't find the leaker. Don't know what we're going to do. I'm like, set up a flock camera. They're turning us in with technology every day over every damn little thing that happens to regular people. Whoever did this, whoever's at that level and could have put this information out to an enemy at a time where we've got an active warlike situation going on, they need to be prosecuted publicly. And we got to bring back the death penalty for these things. You can't be too harsh with these people. They've got to set an example that it's not just fun and games. It's not just enriching yourself. You got Josh Bolton about to get racked up for him keeping stuff so he could write a book and sell memoirs and whatever hustle he had going. Our whole government is a gigantic sieve. And if we can't keep a war secret, now I'll give it to the Trump administration. When we hit Fordham with those bombers, nobody saw that coming. The Maduro raid, airtight. But suddenly we got a leak in this circumstance. And I think it's definitely something that needs to be taken seriously. And they don't need to blow it off and launch an investigation that takes 3 years and they can't find the person. And I'm medieval about it, man. Put them on a short rope and a tall tree and a horse and hang them in the middle of Washington, because these people put lives in jeopardy. We've got people deployed all over the world that are more vulnerable because of these kind of things. In a warlike situation, for what gain? For some inside pettiness, or is it for money? Why would somebody do that? There's a lot of questions about it, and I can't just see that headline, blow it off, and go on to the transgenders in the WNBA. I don't give a damn about that story. This is more important. Let's go to the phones. It's Phil on line 2. Phil, what's on your mind tonight?
Hey, hi, sir. Thanks for taking my call. I just want to make a comment, irrespective of anyone's political affiliation. I consider myself an informed person. Unfortunately, we have a U.S. president that is an habitual, compulsive liar. Period. And that needs to be addressed. He lies every day. Strait of Hormuz is not open today. And not into negotiations. They never will.
Well, you don't think that Trump's every word, every utterance is not mentioned? It's not questioned. It's not confronted. People aren't aware of it. Every politician that opens their mouth probably told a lie today. Trump is
not like Donald Trump. Not like Donald Trump. Donald Trump lies about things that he should. There's no
like what? Give me another example.
They're just about the whole war. that Obama gave him $7 billion.
He did.
He did. It was
he
their
flew
money.
planes of cash.
It was their money.
It was not. It was
their
it
money.
was it was freed. Why was it frozen?
But it was frozen because the sanctions were placed on Iran, and part of the Iran deal.
Why would we place sanctions on Iran?
Let me finish.
No, you're not going to finish. I'm going to finish. Why did we put sanctions on Iran?
We put sanctions on Iran because of their behavior. We went and negotiated.
What behavior?
To allow inspections. We allow inspections.
What behavior?
But the fact of the matter is, you
what behavior?
What
what did the Iranians do that their billions were frozen
They never
all over the
started a
world?
war.
They absolutely started a war. Do you know how
war that Iran preemptively started?
Phil,
you're protecting a compulsive liar.
I'm not protecting anybody. I'm just talking on the radio, just like you are.
He's a compulsive liar.
He's the president of the United States. This
he's still a
hey, here's
liar.
a plan. Don't vote for him then. Don't support MAGA. Be against the president.
I didn't vote for him. Let me say
this. Well, good. Well, then you've had your say at the polls.
Let me say this.
And hey, Phil, you know what? You're a liar.
No.
You're a liar.
You're a liar.
No. You know why you're a liar? You've already lied on this radio show.
I'm calling you out.
You came on and said you were an informed person.
It's the State of the News Open today. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Negotiations. No, it's not.
And negotiations are going on.
He lies about everything.
Ships are moving through the Strait of Hormuz today.
Did China buy more grain? No, they did not. He lies about everything.
Okay, here's the deal. If you call a show like you can call some shows and shout and
liar, man. He's a compulsive liar. Goodbye.
Okay, you've said that 45 times. Now stay on with me. You're not only are you a liar, Phil, you're a coward because you wouldn't have a conversation. I know he dropped because he's a big old starts with a P and I can't say it on the radio, but it rhymes with wussy. Yeah, I said that, Phil. Here's the deal. He calls up and tries to establish his credibility that I'm an informed person. And he can't tell me why we put the damn sanctions on the Iranians in the first place. They took our hostages and held them for 444 days. It was only the election of Reagan that eventually got them free because they were clowning our president. They murdered their own citizens right after that and took control of a government and began terrorizing the world. This is a terrorist nation. We have sanctioned them and frozen assets. And Obama, in a fake move to try to get cozy up to these people, let them have their assets back. And he gave them, it wasn't their money. Their money was frozen for a reason. And he returned it to them in the middle of the night. Why did he do it in cash on airplanes? Why not through the normal financial system? And he flew the stuff in there unbeknownst. And by the way, a lot of people believe it's a violation of how we should have transacted that in the first place. They took the money and sent it to Gaza to build up the infrastructure assets that were used to hit the Israelis on October the 7th. That money's directly traced to the war efforts and the terrorism effort. They used that money to maim soldiers of the United States military deployed around the world with IEDs. They used that money to build their drone program, which we've seen has become extremely lethal. They used the cash. They didn't use it to drill wells and fix their water crisis and help their citizens. This idiot of a president that you claim just gave them their money back, gave them the power to finance their violence against us and other people in the region. And it was just foolish and it accomplished nothing. And I'll take Trump's approach all day long. Every damn thing he's done has been coming since 1979, since I was in the 7th and 8th grade. And it needs to continue. I wish we could just decapitate the whole regime. I'd be 100% for that. And whatever it takes to get that done, we've got to stick with it. So if you don't like Trump, fine, but don't come up here and just keep repeating yourself that you don't like that he lied. Go find something to do. Get a comfort dog. Go to your therapist. Go take a walk, man. Drink some coffee. Chill out. But don't call up here like an ass. Or I guess you can. I don't know. If you want to call and be an ass, we'll let you do it sometimes. We just let Phil do it. 545-9950. Floor Tech. Concrete coatings. Let's talk about an incredible product. Man, I love this story, and I'm trying to find a shorter way to explain it. I got really enthralled when Kevin was explaining to me what they did, because every now and then a business comes along that can shake up an industry. And I really believe this Birmingham based business is going to change everything about the concrete coating industry. It's a multi billion-dollar industry. Somehow it grew to that over the last 2 decades. And the product sucks. The product completely sucks. Not Kevin's product, though. They studied why these floor coatings always fail. They'll wind up peeling, pulling loose, yellowing, which completely changes the color that you wanted. You try to match it to your house, and then it turns some other color, fading in the sunlight. They figured out it was just impurities, extra things that were put in, I guess, for profit over time to thin out the product. They said, let's take the impurities out. Let's create a pure product that'll last. And then they went in the lab and tested it. And through their calculations and projections, they guarantee their product for the life of your home. So I'd take them up on it. If you got raw, naked concrete, boy, it just gets stained and there's not much you can do about it. It's difficult to clean. With this stuff, it coats and protects that concrete, and you can just clean it so easily, pressure wash it, mop it. Everything looks beautiful. You've got total control of the pigmentation and the colors and how much flake you want in there, what color you want with that. Do anything you want with it. Obviously garages, but some people are doing walkways and commercial spaces, retail spaces, and other spaces that include concrete. It's floortechcoatings.com. Put a K when you spell tech, T-E-K, floortechcoatings.com. Back here in just a minute. Hey, y'all, Crocker Moving Services bringing you the show tonight. That's Eric Crocker's company, and what an outstanding moving company this is. I've always said it reflects Eric and his personality, and he is a no-nonsense former Marine that just believes in doing things by the book, very ethical. He hires the best people, runs a tight ship. They're so efficient with their operation, and I'll just tell you, the times I've used them, you can give them just over the phone, really, an estimate of the furniture. Sometimes they got to come out and look. But they're really good at estimating how long it's going to take, so you're not surprised. They do have a 2-hour minimum, which I think is very fair for them to come out and help you with whatever. And I've used them for the big, heavy stuff, and I'll do all the other tedious stuff, and you can do the same thing, or they'll pack you up and move you across the country. CrockerMovingServices.com. A lot of people do moving and a lot of summer stuff when you're readjusting in life, and a lot of it has to do with the school calendar. If you still need some help, or you know a friend that does, before they call you and get you to do it, get them to call CrockerMovingServices.com, CrockerMovingServices.com. All right, here's Bill on line 2. We'll keep going with the phone calls. What's up, Bill?
Hey, what's going on, Leland? Love the show. First-time caller. I just wanted to make a quick comment just to help you out here. The guy that called in, what was his name? Phil, the one that just lost his mind?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. All you had to do really is just ask him, what did the money that Obama gave them do? In what way did it help? You know, did it help things or did it make things worse? And I guarantee you, there's no way he could have answered that question, at least not honestly, right?
Well, he wasn't going to answer any questions. People like that get geared up. You could tell he was hyped up the minute he got on the phone. He's nervous.
Sure.
He's probably got and I'm sure he believes what he believes, and that's fine, man. I don't care if you don't like Trump. I don't care. But he thought that somehow people would care and that he was saying something provocative. And he repeats this dumb phrase over and over again. That's all he had, was just to repeat himself. When I try to question him, challenge it. I've dealt with callers like that for 17 years.
Yeah, I heard it. Same thing. The lie. Oh yeah, the Strait of Hormuz. The same thing over and over and over. You ask him what other lies? Same thing. Hormuz. I mean, these people. I don't even understand why they bother listening to you, other than just to get their daily dose of I'm ticked. You know what I mean?
It's fine with me. We love all of them, whether they want to listen or not. Just keep listening.
I appreciate you, and just the sheer stupidity coming out of that guy's mouth. If he would just sit back and think for 2 seconds, in what way?
Another move they make, Bill, is they just, when they know they're in a corner, they just hang up and run. And I'm like,
of course.
And now, granted, sometimes I do cut a caller off and hang up on them, but it's usually because we're out of time or going to a break or they're just unreasonable. I really wanted to explore his thoughts and have a back and forth, but the left in this country is not in any mood to debate anything. They're one-dimensional.
For sure.
They're in a bubble, and they just want to lecture everybody on how they're supposed to live. Hey, Bill, thanks for your call, buddy. Let me get Kenny in here, and then we'll get the top of the hour. I think we got time for one more. Kenny, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, Leland, first-time caller, man. First-time caller. Listen to you all the time.
Well, thank you.
Oh, listen, I'm an old Marine 55 years ago, and, I sit there listening to this guy named Phil, and I think what he needs really is a chill pill or maybe a little glass of wine or maybe a shade tree or whatever. But anyway, being a guy that served our country and stuff, and you don't have to always agree with President Trump. You don't have to always agree with President Obama, Biden, or whatever. But the thing about it is this guy gets all fired up about propaganda he hears, I guess, on CNN or whatever like that, and just goes berserk. And
hey, Kenny, I hate to cut you loose, but if you want to hang on, and we'll do the top of the hour real quick. Back in a minute.